All right, so Ryan Fitzpatrick comes in. They drive down. They get a field goal. And I wanted to see what the Broncos' response would be at that moment. How were they going to play this thing? Because there was still plenty of time left in the game. They really couldn't just sort of run out the clock. There was 7:51. In the very first play, Drew Lock hits Noah Fant for a 29-yard gain. We're going to play the highlight, and then we'll talk about it.
Trips left side. Now Patrick, the inside receiver, to a wing right as Lock is under center. Lock fakes, rolls to his right, dumps in the flat. Noah Fant's wide open down the west sideline. Fant decides to stay in bounds, breaks the tackle. He's in Miami territory on a huge run down to the Miami 46-yard line. 29-yard catch and run by Noah Fant. 1st and 10, Denver.
I love the aggressive play. And it was a safe play, too. So it was aggressive and safe all at the same time because you did a little bit of a boot there. It's kind of it wasn't a full boot, but it's kind of half. And then and Noah Fant was actually there to chip the defender that ended up running in on Drew Lock at that moment. Drew Lock just floats right over his head. And they ran that play several times, kind of with that tight end in the flat, getting him in space, getting him a chance. No, Nick Van Ant had a nice play earlier in the game, kind of a similar deal. But Noah Fant staying in bounds got another 7 or 8 yards as a result of it. Loved that. They end up getting a 9-yard run there from Drew Lock next. Philip Lindsay goes for 20. And then we get down towards the goal line here after a penalty, and Melvin Gordon gets the ball. You're up.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon gets the ball again, and this has become a sight that's probably a little too familiar for Broncos fans. We got to tighten this up. Melvin was brought in to be a pass blocker, brought in to be a short yardage back. You got to have security of the rock. Here's Melvin Gordon on the fumble.
Straight I formation. Fant is the fullback. Now he will reset as a wing left. They run the counter right side. Gordon patiently waits, now breaks to a tackle. Gordon into the end zone. He fumbles the ball at the goal line. Miami has it, but this is, I think, going to be a Denver touchdown. Oh, no. That ball's out. Oh, no. That's not even close. The back was to the line judge who called it a score, but that ball's out at about the 2-yard line.
Prior to the ball breaking the plane of the goal line, the ball was fumbled, recovered by the defense.
Very clearly, the ball was fumbled there. Understand, the refs on the field were short of man, so their angles were a little bit different as they kind of try to box the play a little bit differently. And so they knew that calling it a touchdown, calling it a fumble would mean the ball couldn't be advanced, and then you had to go back. And so they went ahead and called it the touchdown because they gave you the greater latitude to get the play right. I understand people being upset about that. I tried to explain it on Twitter at the time, but calling it a touchdown gives you greater latitude to make sure you get the call right. They did get the call right. The ball went back. Everything was fine. The only thing that wasn't fine was Melvin Gordon fumbling the football at the goal line. Can't do that. Can't do it. Got to figure it out because that's 4 fumbles for him this year?
Yes.
That's absurd.
Yeah,
got to get it under control.
Have to get it under control, and this team works on just too thin of margins for those kinds of things. And you even saw in this game, it came down, which is what the last play we'll play here in just a second, it came down to a big-time defensive play because the Dolphins took the ball, they moved all the way down into the red zone, and against good teams, and by the way, the Broncos are going to be underdogs the rest of the way. Against almost any team, they're going to probably find ways to do something with the ball there, and you may not have the benefit of being up by a touchdown. Maybe you're only up by a field goal, and they just have to get into field goal range. I mean, we've seen that happen. I think the Titans game is an example of that, where they got the ball, they move down, they kick a field goal, and you lose. So I feel like there's learning experiences all around for this offense. I think you just sort of anticipated because Melvin Gordon is a vet being paid what he is, that he doesn't make those kinds of mistakes, but he has over the course of his career. So to say, well, he's got to correct that, I think you also have to sort of accept that that's just kind of what he is.
Yeah, and you're going to have to figure it out. Tiki Barber was that guy until he wasn't either. You're going to have to figure out ball security. It can be taught. We've seen it. You're going to have to figure that out. So we go from that to Melvin Gordon owing Justin Simmons a steak dinner for Simmons bailing him out here at the end after Ryan Fitzpatrick drives the Dolphins down.
Denver with a 5-man rush. Steps in the pocket, throws the ball to the end zone. Pass is going to be intercepted. Intercepted by Justin Simmons in the end zone.
Interception, touchback. First down.
Simmons, his 4th interception of the season, his 15th of his career. None bigger than that one with 63 seconds left.
With that interception, Justin Simmons passed Steve Atwater for the most interceptions through the first whatever many games of their career it is that they've been to at this point. I don't have the number in front of me. I think that overall, the Broncos defense comes up big in the end. We've seen it happen time and time again, whether it's a Shelby Harris pass deflection at the end of the game, whether it's Justin Simmons' defense comes through, seals it. You can have confidence in that defense. People talking about Drew Lock's statement game, and I don't know if it was a Drew Lock statement game, but it did feel like a Drew Lock get-right game. It felt like a defensive statement game. Vic Fangio was making a statement. It really felt like all the grumbling, all the whining, all the second-guessing, all the talking about the coach, the scheme, everything else. They came out to play, even shorthanded. You're missing 4 guys, in your front 7. Maybe 5 if you count the fact that Josie Jewell wasn't supposed to be a starter to start this season. And you still come through and you get a win over a hot football team that still is, honestly, vying for the playoffs. So, I think what a great way to end it. I think that it was a perfect symmetry there. Justin Simmons should have had an interception earlier in the game. It got called back on a ticky-tack penalty. I just thought that it was kind of a symmetry that it ended the way it did.
I don't see how, after the season he's already put together and what we sort of project for the remainder of the year, how you can't retain this guy. Like, how do you possibly go to that locker room and this fan base and not keep Justin Simmons?
I don't know. I've seen people speculate about the cost too high. No, that's absurd.
That's not it.
And what Justin Simmons did on that play, he wasn't playing that side of the field. He was playing the other side of the field. His range allowed him to get over there, and that's not the first time that's happened. It also happened against the Chargers as well with his athleticism and the Falcons. So, you got to pay him. Pay that man.
Pay that man.